about ready to begin. We'll see if the serves of Barney Reed Jr. can make the difference in this match with the great footwork and controlled forehand attacks of Timothy Wang of Houston, playing out of the ICC club in Milpitas, California.
For these players, Super Bowl has just kicked off. Timothy Wang getting on the board first.
See, a little bit of nerves there. Very aggressive off the serve from Timothy Wang. Now you'll get a chance to see Barney's very difficult to return serves.
Barney's known to use aggressive serves like that both at the beginning and at the end of games. Just a loose error there. Timothy not really reading the serve, popping it up a little bit. Maybe a sign of nerves from Barney. He's missed a couple of loose balls now, looking a little bit stiff.
And I really think this first game is going to set the stage emotionally for this match, because both players realize the significance of what it would mean to get that ticket to London.
Well-placed return there from Barney Reed. He's going to want to force Timothy to use that backhand. Definitely the less consistent of the two sides for Timothy. Timothy can't really return that serve passively throughout this match. He's going to actually want to go wide out to Barney's forehand, open up the rest of the court.
And that's the difficulty of the serve. When Barney's side spin is breaking away from you as a player, it's very difficult to generate the amount of topspin to overcome. That's what Barney needs to do. He needs to get Timothy back up in a defensive role and then just keep the pressure on him on the backhand side.
That's exactly what Timothy needs to do. He needs to extend these rallies. After a certain point in the rally, Barney becomes a lot more passive as he backs to mid-distance.
Very interesting reverse serve by Barney, and then followed by some very strong placement. To get into a lefty's head, you really have got to get them out of that backhand corner. Again, nice inside-out ball there, but Timothy aptly playing it wide to Barney's forehand. Barney's so much more lethal stepping around his backhand using his forehand than when he plays a ball from the forehand side, which generally requires him to hit it cross-court.
You mentioned that forehand side of Barney, Sean. A lot of time from the forehand corner, he'll actually try to over-finesse the ball, not really go through it, try to go down the line when there really isn't an opportunity.
It's very difficult for Barney to go down the line with his technique. He's much more comfortable with the cross-court loop. Again, Barney's serve has been serving him well so far this game. A lot of straight, direct points against Timothy.
And this is where we've already seen some just wild momentum swings just in the first game alone. Timothy needs to hold his nerve here. He really needs this point to keep the ball rolling.
Big backhand loop there. Caught Barney a bit flat-footed in the middle of the table. Barney has the serve while trailing 10-8. And it looks like an easy shot or an easy mistake that Timothy is making, but it's very difficult to judge the exact amount of side spin, topspin on that serve. Oh, that's the first break. Barney getting the shot he wanted. It seemed like Timothy didn't have much pace on the ball. Barney just not necessarily overhitting, but not going out and reaching the ball.
The interesting thing is when returning Barney's serves, you don't really need to put too much pace on the ball. The more important thing is the consistency and the location. You don't want to give him 3 points. You just want to place him in a location where he can't give you a really awkward first opening. Starting the second game here, Barney Reed serving on the far side. A quick backhand error to give Timothy Wang the first point.
We'll leave the umpire call to let on that ball, which Barney will greatly appreciate.
I've seen a number of these let calls, Sean, during the course of this
Almost
tournament.
like phantom calls where neither player see the net, but the umpire sticks with it. I hope Timothy realizes it, because sometimes that can really throw you off if you're playing the next point and not realize you were playing off of a net ball or a let. Beautiful shot by Barney Reed Jr. An inside-out forehand. The thing was he was moving forward and up at the table versus backing up on his heels. Edge ball. Again, everything going Barney's way now in a must-win game, number 2. And now with the serve after both holding his own and breaking Timothy's.
Just giving the point right back. Had all the momentum to start the game and really can't afford to do things like that.
We've seen a lot of these top players miss their serves during this competition. I'm wondering if it's because they're trying to get extra spin or if it's just a little bit of nerves.
I think it's respect for the other competitors, trying to put a little extra spin and juice on that.
And also the fine precision of the serve they're trying to execute. A lot of these players are using an inside-out type of serve, which doesn't leave much margin for error if you mistime it.
Barney serves, very difficult serves to actually execute. That one that he missed, actually trying to go side spin as well as down the line. Barney controlling that point with his backhands. Seemed like he had the put away. Just mistimed it, didn't really move all the way. Interesting timeout call called by Barney's father, Barney Reed Sr. Barney doesn't look too pleased with the call.
Barney's almost walking away from Senior, wondering why burn a timeout when you're leading so comfortably, even though you're down one game. But there must be something critically important that Senior saw that he wanted to make Barney. Now, of course, Barney has the ability to wave off a timeout because this is a singles competition and not a team competition. So I don't know if that was a cross in communications or if it was something just so major.
Generally can be very difficult with the parent-child relationship as the coach-player relationship, because oftentimes the player feels obliged to go to the corner and not wave off any timeouts.
That's a really insightful. I'd never even thought of that. But clearly, as parents are watching their kids play, that sometimes puts a little extra pressure, and then to have the parent in the corner, although at the same time the parent probably knows the kid's game better than anyone. We see that with Ariel Shing. Many times her father, Michael, will be coaching her, as well as Barry and Lily and Adam Hugh playing. That is the fourth time we've seen a lobber catch an edge. And they are trying to make that ball go as deep and wide as possible, but they really don't have that type of control where they're aiming for the ball, aiming for the edge. Just amazing attack, counterattack from both these players, and that 6-2 timeout might be weighing on Barney right now. He had the game within his grasp, and Timothy not willing to back up, but continuing with the barrage of offensive loops.
Timeout almost seemingly helping Timothy more than Barney.
But when you're not sure what to do, and somebody gives you a break to go to your coach, and that coach can see maybe one angle or one specific thing that you can try. Got to use those timeouts wisely. We've seen a 6-point run, and the wheels could be coming off right now. There's a very strong play. Credit Barney for going for the shot.
Barney needs to recover mentally from that 7-point run by Timothy Wang.
Beautiful play combination by Barney. Really keeping the pressure on Timothy. and pulling away the offensive upper hand to even it up at 8-all in game 2. Timothy taking advantage of a ball that came off the side.
I think he was looking for a cheap point there. Didn't seem ready for the return.
Timothy has improved his backhand of late, but it does seem if he's taking a strong backhand lead from the backcourt that's the shot that Barney would like to see him try more often.
Several times now, Timothy's really been able to jam Barney and anticipate that he's going to try to step around, just not getting all the way over.
Again, Barney staying in the extended rally. That's what we said at the onset could be the difference, whether Timothy could play that ball past the 5th or 6th shot to really expose maybe a footwork issue. But Barney playing very smart. And right there, controlling the angles masterfully.
Sean, that's really the superior service game coming through. He's getting really openings that he really likes off that serve. At the game point, it's a level of the match.
Another edge ball off the back court. Barney just cannot believe it. Every time he has the point to finish, Tim gets one more ball, and it's clipping the edge, whether it's unreturnable or just a bad bounce. Talk about not giving away a loose point. Timothy Wang is here for every shot of every point.
Barney really had what he wanted there. Backhand cross court being one of his most reliable shots.
He's kind of reaching for the ball a little bit. That's a huge comeback victory for Timothy Wang. Really almost set up by the timeout that you never know what's going to happen after you take that small break, especially whether you're serving or the opponent. But clearly you want to come out of a timeout winning the next point, and Tim went on a tear to take 7 out of the next 8.
Barney Reed Jr. now back in his corner, seeming to have more to say to his coach, his father, than the other way around. Don't think he's happy with that timeout. And I think that some of the lucky bounces that Timothy got in that game could be weighing on his mind a little bit.
Barney has a lot of negative energy right now where he's explaining to the dad that, why did you stop my momentum? And senior's trying to turn it around. You just can't be in that controversial kind of heated argument when you're trying to figure out who the opponent is. It's not your father, it's the guy on the other end of the table.
And in contrast, on the other side, Timothy Wang and Joe Shing look like they have a lot of positive energy going. Momentum certainly with that particular team. And the coach very animated in his discussion of the tactics for this next crucial game for Timothy. If he can open up a 3-0 lead, he'll just be very confident in closing out this match.
Now with Timothy just pretty recently hitting the national scene, he won our men's singles championship 2 years ago, but I've really been amazed at what positive and kind of hard work going forward. It's not to say that Barney hasn't worked hard, because clearly he's been in the game for such a long time and really made the most of a number of opportunities. But Timothy really taking advantage of some of the opportunities that have made themselves available through the ICC club in Milpitas, as well as the national coaches. Great table control. The benefit of being a lefty means every time that Timothy goes cross court, Barney can expose a wide angle forehand.
And that backhand's so quick off the bounce.
You know, sometimes with Barney, he says he likes to get that kind of the anger or that pent-up frustration out. And maybe that was an opportunity for him just to think, gosh, I lost the game and let me take it out on someone, and almost a little bit of a John McEnroe where he can turn it on and turn it off emotionally.
That type of thing can work really for or against you. It's difficult to really know how it's going to work out.
And he does have some great shot-making ability, so I don't think it's as critical for him to win every point in the same manner. But right now it does look like he's forcing the issue, and with a 2-0 lead, Timothy can afford to maybe step back a little bit and let Barney do some of the opening. Very strong play by Barney again, controlling the cross-court angles and getting to Timothy's backhand on the backcourt.
The breakdown in footwork as the rally extended there for Barney. Talked about this at the beginning of the match. If Timothy can extend the rally there, Barney just not moving to the ball. Ball's out in front of him, not coming out to him. Just reaching forwards and losing his balance.
Seems like he would have needed to take 2 extra steps in order to put enough topspin on the ball to bring it down. Again, that forehand loop really set up nicely by the inside-out serve. Barney is so strong at moving his serve around and really knowing where the next ball must go. Being a little bit of overhitting there.
Couple of angry sort of forehands. Barney usually doesn't hit with too much power on that side. It's the second forehand he's missed long this game.
Very nice aggressive flip by Barney. He stepped in just the right amount, and again, controlling the angles off the first shot.
Even though he won the point, I don't think that's the right location for Timothy to return the serve. Barney really had what he wanted and was on top, just missing final shot.
Be interesting to see if Timothy starts returning that forehand serve with his backhand. It's a much easier way of dealing with the side spin, but then it really exposes you even wider to your own backhand.
Interesting is if he returns it with his backhand, Timothy tends to try to lift a lot more. It's very good off of backspin serve. But against dead and topspin serves, when he tries to return with that banana flip, the way he tries to put topspin on the ball and lifts, a lot of the time he'll miss long.
These players played in the U.S. phase, or the U.S. Olympic trial 2 months earlier, and Barney had the win there against Timothy, so clearly going into this match, Barney looked on paper to be, if not a favorite, a co-favorite.
Out of control there again. A couple of times he's made up his mind after the backhand that he's going to step around, either been caught or just played an out of control forehand trying to go down the line.
And Timothy's backhand from the backcourt, if he has time, he needs to step around that ball. It really doesn't matter if he loops it out to Barney's forehand. Very nice opening by Timothy. Now, because of the format of this tournament, there will be a finals match between the winner of this match and Pierre Luc-Thériault and Hong Tao Chen. But for all intensive purposes, this is a finals for a spot to London, since Canada has already taken 2 spots in singles. So this will be the match for both Barney and Timothy.
Barney with a 2-point lead here at the end of this critical game for him. It's a must-win game for him to stay in the match.
Huge point for Barney. Looked like Timothy was controlling the rally and just going long, trying to force some additional pressure. Very well played. Barney able to get to the weaker side of the backhand of Timothy Wang in a game that he needed and really had to have in order to withstand going down love 3.
That particular game, Barney really in control using his serve and his return. Put Timothy Wang off balance. The only reason that game was so close was he missed probably 3 pretty easy forehand putaways. Just a little bit out of control, going for a little bit too much. Needs to play under control for the rest of the match.
I think really the next 5 points that we watch are going to be the best telltale sign of what to expect at the conclusion. If Barney can change the momentum and keep control of the angles, make his serves work for him, and maybe get more balls into Timothy's backhand like he was able to do there, or if Timothy's able to take that serving advantage away from Barney and get 2 or 3 shots, maybe extend the rally and keep the pressure on Barney to have to move and hit the ball instead of just block him down.
And Timothy needs to be more aggressive early in the rally. Stop Barney from taking those quick backhands, opening up his wide forehand, and then coming back to his backhand.
That's exactly Barney Reed table tennis right there. Nice controlled serve, weak return, powerful backhand.
Good backhand off the bounce, but again out of control on the following shot. A lot of the times when you know where the ball is coming, players will actually sort of get antsy and go a little bit too early. You need to hold yourself back a little bit.
Beautiful forehand down the line. Barney really staying balanced on those first 2 blocks before counterattacking with his forehand.
So far in this match, Barney's backhand off the bounce has been the shot of the match, even though he's behind, due to that comeback in game 2. Timothy really needs to find a way to take that shot out of the equation a little bit, because Barney's forcing him off the table, then forcing him to play backhands.
Nice ball movement by Timothy. We've seen Timothy play a lot of streaky matches so far in this tournament where it seems like he just stops attacking halfway through and becomes, I'm not going to say a spectator, but he's changing his tactics to back off a little bit. Probably be a good idea for him to get back in the driver's seat right now and force the issue.
Interesting how you described that, Sean. Coach Max mentioned that in several games of the tournament he wasn't happy with the way Timothy played and said it was like he was a zombie.
Usually I think you can tie it to Timothy's post point, whether he's encouraging himself and pumping himself up or if he's just really quiet. Right now it looks like he's taking control and is ready to attack. Great play, great defense by Barney Reed. Wondering why the court was a bit too small as Timothy played the extreme wide angle to the backhand to pull within one. I think that's the ball that Barney would like to have. He's just overheating slightly, and I think it's more of reaching for the ball and not moving to get in a little bit closer.
Well, I think Timothy really feeds off his own confidence when the tactics are clear for him. He gets very excited after points, pumping himself up, really fired up and a lot of energy. When he's not sure of the tactics, he goes into sort of a probing mode, tries to play passively, gets himself into trouble. That's a very aggressive forehand from Timothy. Barney putting some really strange spin.
I was just going to say that's one thing that you don't see Timothy do is really power through a loose ball. And then he does it on the very next shot, so that's something he needs to continue to add to his game. That's a huge point right there. That is monstrous. And you really don't have to do anything to win the point and to extend a 4-point lead with a 2-1 advantage in games. Great misdirection there.
And Barney again after the backhand off the bounce, taking a chance but a little bit too early in his movement. Timothy again catching him running around the backhand corner. Even though Barney won that point, he's not in his firm control. He's not as close to the table, playing a little softer from mid-distance, really to Timothy's favor. It's a much better
This
backhand
game is
opening.
far from over. We have seen Timothy have issues closing out games, especially in the first tournament against Pierre-Luc Ince.
He just starts playing passive.
It's almost like
Reed
he's
is attacking.
Yeah, it's almost like he's waiting for his opponent to make a mistake. And at this level, this quality of play, players just don't make mistakes when the ball's on their racket. You've got to force the mistake. I wouldn't be surprised if for some reason Barney gets this point at 10-9 that a timeout is called. And that looked like that ball caught the edge.
And Timothy can't afford to play passively because this player when he plays passively doesn't have a lot of spin or power on his shots. Doesn't force the opponent into errors.
Just kind of carries it on the table. That's a solid loop there. Got exactly the ball that he wanted, was able to turn on it. Now is in a commanding role, up 3-1, almost forcing Barney to make some substantial changes in the tactics, because right now Tim is able to handle the serve. He's extending the rallies, making a number of good forehand to backhand loops.
I think Barney really needs to reevaluate when he tries to take chances with his anticipation. He's still controlling the rallies with his backhand off the bounce early, but then he's either backing up or trying to take a chance to premeditate the very next ball. He's turning the corner very early. Timothy knows he wants to do that, and he's getting into trouble. And that carries over to the next few points where he loses confidence in his play, even though what he's doing in the beginning of the point is the right thing.
I think we can definitely look forward to Barney being a little bit more aggressive on the deep serve, put a little bit more pressure on Tim, since Tim has to be aware of that short forehand side spin serve to his forehand. Again, those angles are very difficult to deal with. He can read the serve, it's just he doesn't like playing it into Barney's strength, which makes it often very difficult to keep the ball low.
The mental game is going to be very important. Timothy can't think that he has this thing won, and Barney cannot dwell on some of the missed opportunities he's had in the previous few games. He can't think that he's one game away from going out. He has to play 1 point at a time here.
I think that's very accurate. Who can deal with the distractions of the outcome better? And I'll tell you, if Timothy can open up a 2 or 3 point lead, Barney will have a much more difficult time.
Especially with no timeouts remaining. This is Barney really trying to be aggressive. A little bit overly aggressive off Timothy's serve. Putting himself in an early hole.
Is challenging him with a topspin serve.
And that's really the way to serve against Barney. A topspin serve, Barney isn't a player who likes to flip very aggressively. He likes to just place the ball in if you expect it. Interestingly, Barney Reed Sr. leaving the corner. Almost in frustration.
I've never seen that happen where the coach leaves the match.
And Timothy needs to not let this become a distraction. Obviously, there's been some conflict between the player and the coach, or the coach is frustrated and has left the corner, but Timothy needs to focus on his tactics and not let that. That's exactly what
it was almost like kind of an additional timeout or kind of a change in action to have the coach leave the court. I don't know if Barney had instructed him that I'm fine, I don't need you, or if Senior on his own decided to make that play. Timothy has been on an emotional roller coaster this entire week with playing in the finals, losing in the first round.
Not moving his feet there.
As you said, Han, right now it's such a battle, not so much of the right tactics, but staying in the present and not thinking what if in either direction.
Barney right now is doing exactly what he can't do. He needs to keep the ball on the table, force Timothy to win the match.
Again, very strong play by Barney with both forehand and backhand attacks.
Third or fourth missed flip. He's just trying to be aggressive off of Timothy's serve. Timothy challenging him with that light topspin serve. Barney knows if he flips soft, he's in trouble.
That was very close to catching the edge as well. If Timothy had just put a little bit more topspin. Again, keeping that 3-point lead gives Timothy that much more room to breathe and to take a little bit more risks or let Barney open up knowing that he can counterattack on occasion.
You could see Barney's frustration as Timothy's return caught the net. He kind of returned it in a very exaggerated fashion.
Both these players have had the benefit of a number of edge balls off of loose points, but really can't let that get into your head that one person had the upper hand, the other one got unlucky, but just keep playing the point. Very strong angle from Timothy, basically taking a lefty advantage and putting it against them.
Just played very solidly this entire match so far, not making many loose mistakes. In this game, Barney's the one who's been trying to force the issue, but just missing ball after ball.
Excellent play by both competitors. Timothy's blocks very difficult to keep up with. Barney keeping the pressure from both backhand and forehand side. Great backhand loop down the line. Again, we've seen Timothy have some issues closing out games, but credit Barney on the last two shots.
Here, Timothy Wang's coach, Shoshin, calling it timeout, obviously not wanting to take any chances, especially on that last serve return. Timothy did look a little bit tentative, going back to playing a little bit too passive.
Really wise. If it had gone to 9-7 or 9-8 before calling it, Barney would have had that much more momentum on his side. But by stopping it right now, not only can he can give advice on this set of two serves, but the next one as well. So it's often nice to be able to pre-plan not only what you're going to do on the next point, but on the next service changeover.
I would look for Barney to play very aggressively coming out of this timeout. Timothy needs to extend the rally. 5, 6, 7 or more shots. As the rally drags on, Barney's aggressive play likely to produce errors.
Again, a very tough angle to deal with that side spin. And Timothy with 3 match points to take a trip to London this summer to represent the United States in the Olympic Games. And he's done it! Timothy Wang. Great match by both teammates. After coming up short on day 1, losing to Pierre-Luc Ince, being a finalist in day 2, Timothy Wang has won the head-to-head selection match. It will put him into the finals. But for all intensive purposes, Timothy Wang will be going to London for Team USA.